often we get to do some tasks repeatedly that it gets annoying to, or because it's repeated, it's annoying, or it blocks us from doing other important things. These tasks can be something like continuous testing when we are developing a new product or and deploying it. And I think maybe filling some forms like Excel sheets can be repeated. So if we only can dump these tasks to a robot that would do it for us effortlessly. Fortunately, platforms like GitHub and GitLab has provided such tools to enable us to run automated tasks. And today I will talk about automation with GitHub Actions. Giving some idea of how this talk will be carried out. First, I will give you a brief introduction of what automation is and what are some automation tools used. I will then tell you the prerequisites to achieve automated process, and we'll have a demonstration about it. And finally, I will provide you with some useful resources to learn and get into it. So what is automation? This is a quoted definition from IBM website, and as I understand from it, that automation is making things work automatically. So going to automation tools, this is a broad area, but I'm going to focus only on continuous integration tools because they have different type of automation. So the most popular tools available in this context are Jenkins, GitHub Actions, GitLab CI, and Travis CI. In this talk, I will focus on GitHub Actions. And next are the prerequisite. So if you ask me, what do we need to start this? Obviously, all you need to start is a GitHub account, which I'm sure everyone here has one, and a repository that can be created anytime, and finally a process that you need to automate. Now, going to the fun part, automation in action. I'm going to demonstrate a simple automation. Here, as you see in the screenshot, I have created a repository called automation demo, and at the beginning, because we don't have any workflow in the repository, we'll get this welcome message. So all we need to do is in this workflow, we will work on automating or getting all the labels here to be changed in our own system. And we will use an action, we will need a workflow file. This is created in the following directory. So all the workflows workflow files are YAML files with set of instructions. And here I'm going to explain this workflow is going to take all the labels that we have already in the repository here and delete them, and then get a set of labels from a label file called labels.json, and then import it there. So to keep this simple, first we are using the workflow is called import labels, and we are using workflow dispatch. This means that the workflow will not be triggered unless we do it manually. It will be run in Ubuntu, and we need Node to be installed. So we are checking the code, and then we are installing the dependencies, which is GitHub Lab templates. In this package, the way we run it is we are getting the owner of the repository and the name of the repository here, and we are getting the GitHub token, and then deleting all the labels in the issues. And in the next line, we will do the same in the same owner of the repository and repository name. We will import all the labels in the labels.json. So now let's create a file called labels.json. In this file, we will have all the labels with the name and the color code, and then the description. These will be created automatically in the repository. So now, in best practices, we should create. We should push it into a branch. But since I didn't create a branch for now, I think let me. So we will push it. So once we have pushed it to GitHub, you notice here we don't have a change. They are still 9 labels, but now when we go to automation demo, okay, it might need a few seconds. Okay, sorry. I mistook the name of the folder. It should be workflows with S instead of workflow. That's why it isn't working. I'm going to change it now. So now that this is fixed, sorry, we go to actions. Now we have the action which is called import labels, the same as this name here. And before I run the workflow, I need to check we have 9 labels. And now when I run the workflow, we are running it on master. If we want to see the steps, so we are setting it here and importing the labels. So since it's successful now, we can go and check the issues, and we see we have 17 labels with the click of a button. So now you might be wondering now, okay, Rahma, you showed us how to create an action. How do we learn more and not miss an important repository? Or maybe you say, I'm new to GitHub and GitHub Actions. I feel overwhelmed with all the information here. How can I start slow and learn better? So I'm going to introduce you to something called Github Learning Lab. It is a fun and easy way to learn about GitHub and GitHub Actions. And in addition, it is automated using a bot. So you always get the feedback based on your progress in the course, as well as you get activities and your activity screen. Your activities will show up in your GitHub profile. So the way you go there is lab.github.com. With this, I would like to conclude my talk with a list of references. You are welcome to ask any question.
Awesome. Well done, first of all. And I really like this is the last slide, because I think attribution is super important. Something we definitely need to be very cognizant of going forward. I guess my first question would be, why did you pick this as an example?
I remember that we had an issue that we needed to put the labels into our own standard, and doing this manually is a painful job. So I encountered this there's the last link is link to YouTube video where they showed the same action, but they showed it that the action will be triggered when you only when you change the values in the JSON file. But I didn't want to do this, so I did I'll trigger it manually with dispatch workflow. Does this answer your question?
Yeah, it totally answers my question. I guess I just have one follow-on question. I'll leave it to us. In terms of applicability and like surrender value, meaning that how do we turn this immediately into value for the team? Have you considered kind of deploying this across all of our repos and making it super easy for anybody to deploy this so we have standard labeling across the organization?
Yes. Yes, I think that it is an easy thing to do. We have the labels in the labels.json file, and we also have the action here, so we can implement it easily.
Okay. Cool. I'd like to see that implemented.
Any more questions?
I have a question, but for somebody else to answer. From the project manager's perspective, I think we have one project manager in here, Aisha. Kind of curious, after what you've seen, to like kind of share your thoughts on how you think, one, this would be useful for our, basically as we develop projects and product going forward. And I guess the second question is, are there any use cases other than this one that you think would be very useful solving any of the challenges that you faced or will be facing? So those are two questions for Aisha.
Well, to be honest, like I came, I guess, by the end of the session, but from what I saw, I think the automation will be very easy in terms of writing the issues. So if we have like a not a I don't know if I can call it a template or whatever, and also in terms of tracking the progress of the task or of an issue. I guess the automation would be helpful in terms of managing such a project.
Is there any specific use case that you can think of that would be useful? I can think of one is automated deployment. Are there any others that you feel like would significantly speed up the development cycle and the quality as well?
Yeah, I would say the testing. So we have like certain criteria. So if that task passed those criteria, then that task should be marked as completed. However, if it failed one of those tasks or those criteria we set, then it should be returned as in progress or ready to review. So testing could be.
Yeah, I think that's a really important one. Any thoughts on that, Rahma, regarding automated testing and the applicability and maybe the level of effort it would take to begin implementing automation, specifically actions, as part of our standard workflow?
So for something like linting or the tests that the developer creates, we can implement it directly in the workflow where whenever someone pushes to a pull request that is going to be merged into a develop branch, this action will be triggered. And there is something that I think that I want to explore more on is using testing tools like Selenium. I'm not sure if it was implemented in GitHub Actions or not, but it will be interesting to see that even testing the UI will, if it would be applicable to run using GitHub Actions.
Yeah, that would be cool to check out. Also check out Puppeteer. That's the library I'm using right now for automating the bookings. It's really good.
Sorry, which one?
Puppeteer. I can share it with everybody. It's developed by Google. It's JavaScript based, and I'm really bad at JavaScript. I'm learning JavaScript as I use it, but it's really powerful. I've used Selenium before with Python, and I found it, unless they've modified it a lot, it's a lot less robust. But yeah, just some thoughts. Anyone else have some questions, thoughts, comments, ideas that have been sparked by this talk?
I just want to add something that I remembered. The GitHub Learning Lab does not only contain the courses which are related to automation. You can also find the courses which are like from the beginning of using GitHub, how to commit things, how to write a pull request, how to do code reviews. So it has really a good material. Also, I saw that the people who are posting courses, not only the GitHub Learning Lab team, also others. So maybe we can, in the future, post some courses there to help the people who are using GitHub learn something.
Yep, love the idea. Mu'tasim, do you have any thoughts you want to share? Any questions that you have?
No, I'm just listening.
All right, I guess we can conclude today's talk. I'll share some links regarding the automated UI library I was using. If anybody's interested, curious to hear from you, Rahma, kind of some investigation on like UI automation.